author of this legislation and the brainchild behind the United States International Broadcasting of Radio Free Asia, Mr. Royce from California.
California is recognized.
Well, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate that. I rise in support of this bill. I just wanted to take a moment here to thank Chairman Berman and also Ranking Member Ross Leitonen for their assistance in moving this bill so expeditiously to the floor. There's a timing issue here. We need to pass this out soon, and this, of course, will allow us to broadcast for an additional year. September 30th is the day in which this authority will expire, and I wish we could do more, colleagues. I do. Earlier this year, as you know, Chairman Berman passed a State Department authorization bill out of this House that would have established permanent authority for RFA. The other body, the Senate, is yet to take up this legislation. We wish they would. We can debate the merits of a long-term extension versus sunset repeal, but there's one thing certain in all of this, and that is that the target countries that we broadcast into, countries like North Korea and China and Burma and Vietnam, they give no indication of allowing a free local press anytime soon. At a practical level, I understand that RFA's sunset restriction has hampered RFA's operations. It hampers the ability to go out and hire, obviously, on a permanent basis. You can't negotiate a lease or capital improvements and so forth. So it's important we address this issue. And I think it's important we focus on the success of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and Radio Free Asia. Radio Free Asia was actually founded in 1996, and it attempts to replicate what RFE-RL did in Eastern Europe. Its mission is to act as a surrogate news service, performing as a free press would if it was allowed to operate in any of these countries. And quite simply, its broadcasts are devoted to the enlightenment of people, to letting people know what's actually happening in their country and around the world. And my interest in these broadcasts stems from a trip I took to Dresden, East Germany, years ago, where a man told me about the damage that these broadcasts were inflicting on Soviet tyranny, and shared with me the effect that they seemed to be having, an effect without firing a shot, an effect in which the world was changed without the loss of a human life. Surrogate broadcasts, now mainly radio, but increasingly these new media, they provide people with the news and information about their countries that otherwise they couldn't possibly obtain. And as one observer has noted, this type of broadcasting, it does irritate authoritarian regimes. It inspires Democrats. It creates greater space for civil society. Yes, it does. It does change societies. And irritate totalitarian regimes? Yes, that has happened. China has attempted to erect a great wall of sound to block RFA transmissions. They're not successful, but they blocked some of them. Vietnam has heavily jammed RFA since the first days of the broadcast. You may not be able to get it inside the capital, but you can get it in the countryside. We know what news these communist regimes are afraid of. In North Korea, broadcasting such as this is one of the only sources chipping away at Pyongyang's propaganda machine. When I talk to defectors out of North Korea, as often as not, they've listened to these broadcasts, and especially the senior civil service members and military members who defect tell about how it changed their view of the world. All around the globe, an information war is at play. Iran is spending heavily to block our broadcasting while beaming its own message into Afghanistan and even the Balkans to sow division. Russia is broadcasting into southeastern Europe as well. Hugo Chavez is crippling local media while bolstering Venezuela's state broadcasts around Latin America, and he's preaching anti-Americanism with those broadcasts. And then there are the 150 Sharia-friendly radio broadcasts in Pakistan, Swat Valley. And those are the broadcasts that the Taliban are making in Afghanistan and in northwest Pakistan. So from Caracas to Tehran to Pyongyang, these totalitarian regimes understand that controlling information is central to their being. Radio Free Asia is one of our pieces on this chessboard. I look forward to the passage of this legislation and to working with the chairman and ranking member to seek a more permanent standing for this critical organization. Thank you, and I yield back.
Yields back the balance of his time. Gentlewoman from California.